Hey there guys, how's it going? We are nicely getting going combining here on lentils. I'll talk about that in a minute. What I wanted to bring to your attention is we have both mechanics down today. We got John Deere down working on that combine and also working on the 2-track. The 2-track is throwing up some weird stuff. You'll be driving along, pulling your grain cart, and it goes bruh, dies. So it's got wiring issues. Something's got to be going on, because you can be high idled at like 1800 RPM and driving, and it's like you just shut the ignition off. It's just, the tractor just comes to a screeching halt, and that's it. And then you can't get it going again. So there's a few gremlins that they're trying to find right now. So as you can see, there's the John Deere truck. It's working on the combine. And on the combine, I think they're just doing some, I guess I'm not sure what they're doing to the combine. Maybe they're working on the header. That is the new 745 Hydroflex John Deere header. I think they're working on that header actually, for some unknown reason. And over here on the Fendt Ideal, let me get this windshield wiper out of the way for you guys. There you go. There's a bearing gone on the back, on one of the back shafts somewhere, and it decided it was going to spring a bit of an oil leak out of a gearbox, and oh yeah, it threw up a def code, put it itself into limp mode, and it also basically died. So yeah, you can only idle it around at like 900 RPM with def issues. So there's 3 things going on with that one. And so yeah, this is just a typical day. I'm not making this up. This is a pretty classic day. It's not a matter of if you're going to have a John Deere tech or a Ideal tech down here, Fendt AGCO tech, I guess I should say. Just a matter about how many times they're going to be coming down here. To be fair, we really don't have that many John Deere techs coming down, to be fair. But the Fendt Ideal combines, unfortunately, it is an everyday occurrence. So we're going to get that combine up and running here today, hopefully. And we'll drop another one at some point this afternoon. We might even drop 2, you never know. The day is young still, you guys. It's still, I don't know, it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. We've been going for a little while. It is beginning of August, and we are combining red lentils. Now this is a really poor red lentil crop, and there's a lot of grasshoppers. In fact, the John Deere combines over there, they've actually been having issues with their wreath thrashers. What's a wreath thrasher? Well, it's a really good question. So on a John Deere, you have your tailings, and instead of bringing your tailings back up to the side, back up the side of the combine and drop it back in on your main rotor, it actually has its own little rotor type deal, little cylinder type thing. I have to show you. It's completely separate. It doesn't drop it back in the main rotor. It kind of tries to do a little wreath thrashing on its own. These things don't have really a wreath thrasher. I think they call them a wreath thrasher. It's not a wreath thrasher. It's basically a single bat with like one rub bar, and it just hucks it back in, hucks it back into the combine. But anyways, we're actually plugging the wreath thrashers on the John Deeres with grasshoppers. Like, that's saying something. It will cake them right up in there, and it will plug them. And then what happens if you plug your tailings is you actually end up plugging, you plug your wreath thrasher, you plug your tailings. So then you're always running out there and you're trying to dump it. It took us a long time to figure out what the crap was going on. You know, we're adjusting the sieves, we're adjusting the concave, we're adjusting the rotors. You know, we're like, what the heck is going on? Like a little shower did come through, but like, what the heck? Once you start digging it apart, it's all plugged up with grasshopper guts. Do you get grasshoppers in your tank? Well, I just dumped. So I would like to show you guys that, but we're gonna have to wait probably about 2 hours while I combine. And then hopefully in 2 hours, I'll have enough that I can actually show you in the bottom of my hopper. Mike, it can't possibly be going that bad. It is going that bad. So this field is averaging, I think this field's probably gonna do about 3 bushel an acre. That's pretty good. We just came off of one that was doing 2.5. And then the one before that actually did 0 to 1. 0 dash to 1. So basically, we bring a truck out, we all come combine, we all combine all day long with all the combines, like 8 combines or however many we got out here. And then we bring the truck home at night. That's how it is. So I'm gonna do some combining here. Like, they look okay. You know, you're like, oh man, there's a little bit of a crop there. But there's just really there's no pods on them. They just died. kind of like our derm, aborted in the boot. Yeah, they just kind of died. So when you can see last year's derm stubble, you see that white out there, you guys? See it? Yeah, you see it. That's last year's derm stubble. So we cut last year's crop, and you can see it all throughout the field. Over and above. It's standing over and above the top growth of the lentil stand. That is not a good sign. So the problem is when it's this short. Here, let's walk out there. Unhook my seatbelt because I'm a safety first kind of guy. All right. So, yeah, there's a few grasshoppers moving around. The problem is here is we can only cut so short. So we're cutting about right here. Now normally that's okay because the lentils are standing about twice as tall. And then you're basically, it'd be like cutting closer on these stems. If you're gonna cut here, this is what happens. If you're gonna cut here, it's a little more solid, easier to cut, right? Now, this is the best part of the field. How do you know? Because there's pots. Once we get up and over the hill a little ways, we had a little shower come through here. This is our pride and joy, you guys. This is the big time. This is where it's probably doing 5 bushels an acre right here. And we're really excited. Now over here is this derm. There is flies out here like you would not believe, and they're biters. Holy crap. This here's our derm stubble from last year. If you can see between your lentil rows, you do not have a good lentil crop. Also, we have grasshopper damage. They're also doing some chewing. This is it. This is what we're looking at here, you guys. So we'll have fields like this. Well, Mike, how come you don't spray for your grasshoppers? For what crop? With what money are you gonna spray? You have a couple bushel crop out here. How are you gonna afford to protect that? The little bit that's here doesn't even pay us to run these combines over it. Never mind our fuel. Never mind the labor. The hours to use these combines is highly expensive. Well, Mike, why don't you just leave it, buddy? Why are you even out here with those expensive combines? That's a really good question. And the reason we're out here is because we need seed. Like, there is no seed. It's not like we can just go to the neighbor and get some seed from him for next year. You know, we seed this at what, 1.5, 2 bushels an acre. What's it going? 0 to 2 bushels an acre? That's our seed. We have to get our seed back. Like, why don't you just leave it? Go to a seed grower, buddy. What seed grower in Western Canada is going to have a crop? Because the drought is so widespread, you can't go to the neighbor, he doesn't have a crop. You can't go north to a neighbor, he doesn't have a crop. You can't go halfway up Saskatchewan, they don't have a crop. You can't go to the very end of northern Saskatchewan because they can't even grow lentils there. You can't go to Manitoba, they don't have a crop. You can't go to Alberta, they don't have a crop. So where are you going to get your seed? There is no seed. Everyone's going to be in the exact same situation. And if there was a little bit of seed out there, first of all, it's going to go like that. And second of all, you're not going to be able to afford to buy it. Because say this stuff is, I don't know, 15 bucks a bushel. It's going to be 115 bucks a bushel for that seed. It's going to go to the highest bidder, basically. Whoever has the deepest pockets is going to get the seed. It's going to be awesome for the seed grower, anyone who has any seed. It's going to be like winning the lottery. But for the average farmer, you have to get your own seed back so you can plant a crop for next year. So that's what we got to do. That's why we got to do it. Now you know. So it's going about 2 bushels an acre of lentils and probably about 2.5 bushels of grasshoppers. No, but in all honesty, the Fendt Ideal combines, like, they got their struggles. Reliability is their #1 struggle. But when they're actually working and stay running, they do an awesome job. Because we've been comparing the sample of the Ideal combine to the John Deere combines. And we do have some aftermarket concaves in one of them, and we have the regular John Deere concaves in the other, and there is no difference. We just can't get the sample as clean as the ideal. So that's a pro. Obviously we're not working the combine, so we're not really burning very much fuel. Though still the ideals have a little less fuel burn than the John Deere's day to day, hour per hour. Now, on talking about headers though, yeah. So on the Honeybees we have a gigantic transition plate. This here is called your transition plate, okay? Basically, it's actually quite large. It's quite long. Here, let's see if I can figure this out there. If you guys can see that angle. It's actually pretty deep, okay? It goes all the way down here. It's almost like 18 inches or something. That gives you a lot of travel, all right? So that's really good in terms of travel. This header has a heck of a lot of flex if you want to use it. Another big pro with this transition plate, no rocks are getting past this plate. Because you got fingers, unless you have a really big rock and it can somehow drag it up this transition plate onto your canvas, you're not going to get a rock in there. So most of your rocks stop at that transition plate. Unlike the John Deere's, they don't have something like that. You have about a lip about this big. So it doesn't take very much for a rock to dribble into even the new 745 Hydroflex header. Now, the downside to the Honeybee transition plate, it's a love-hate relationship. Mike, what do you mean? It's a great question. Well, it's great for keeping the rocks out. It's great for flex and travel, but you're going to have more header loss in a really, really short crop. Why? Because it's just going to sit on your cutter bar like that, and of course your knives are going to, so it's shaking it, and you don't have enough material, because you need material to build up or flow, because you got to have flow. Well, the problem is there's no crop to have flow, so the Deere header is going to have less header loss. So like I said, everything has its pros and cons. That is what we have noticed so far, and we're only day 2 into harvest. Let's just do a little quick walk around, shall we? This is the Ideal 9 combine. It is rocking, I think it's the 15 liter, 15.2 maybe, I can't remember, something like that, MAN engine. It does unload at about 6 point something or 6 bushels per second, which is pretty awesome. Yes, I did extend that auger for a larger header. That thing is just, it's ridiculous. It's like 35 feet or 37 feet long or something like that. It's a pretty long auger. It does rock the 485 bushel hopper. And these are 50-foot Honeybee air flexes, which we are on our 3rd season with them. So far they've been pretty good. We've had some reel issues. We've lost some reels. It comes flying off. I do believe we got that resolved with some grade 8 bolts. I'll show you the header trap. Wait, what, Mike, what's the header trap? Also known as the pre-rock trap. If I can find it, right here. There it is. So, all your rocks and your dirt, anything that you don't want in your combine, typically always stops here first. Hold on, I gotta get in. Which is pretty awesome. Lots of times you'll be combining along and you can actually see a rock just sitting in here. So, yes, combines do have rock traps. Yes, they should be dumped very often when you're in pulses. But this is your pre-rock trap. Also should be dumped quite often. It's always a bit of a dusty job. Just an over-centering latch. This will actually collect a lot of rocks. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much all of it. Yes, we had to put light bars on because we just weren't happy with the lights. They are all LED and they are pretty bright, but they would light your combine up awesome all the way around to about that point. You couldn't see far out. And when you're moving down the road at 20 mile an hour at night with a 50-foot header, you need to see all the way out there. And the problem is they put their bright headlights, probably because they're built in Europe, down here. These are the brights, you guys. Those are your headlights. These up here are your floodlights. Well, when your headers move all the way up like this, it actually, these are completely worthless, useless. You want to just put some tape over those lights. They're completely useless to you when you're moving down the road. So we needed to actually put some light bars on, so when our header's way up to here, we can actually see where we're going. No, we do not unhook our header. Great question. Why? Because we don't need to. There's nobody down here. It's wide open for as far as you can see, and all it is little dirt roads like that with nothing. You pick up that header, you rock her to 23 mile an hour if you can get the combine going that fast. Actually, I think they do 26. And you get chomping. No time to be unhooking your headers. Mike, aren't you gonna meet somebody? Who? If you meet anybody, they're probably part of our crew. All right, guys. I'm gonna go sit down. Yeah, my cab's a little messy right now. It's because I've been in and out an awful lot these days. I was actually going to say something which I thought was really important, but apparently it's not that important because I forgot about it. All right, adios amigos. So yeah, I'm back. I just wanted to show you guys what really poor lentils look like. So let's just jump out here. So guys, these lentils are a lot thinner yet even. And in fact, all you see is our last year's derm stubble. This is our derm stubble here from last year, okay? You shouldn't be able to see this. That is not a good sign. So these lentils are doing around one bushel an acre. Some of it's doing about 1.5, 1.5. Some other combines going out over there. So this is it, guys. This is, even the kochia had to abort this. And that's saying something, because that stuff, it just doesn't die. I keep saying we got to breed this, our lentils with kochia. So that's our crop. You're looking at it. So we got a few pods right here on the top. Some have something in it, but some don't. Like these don't. They don't have anything in them. These obviously didn't even pod at all. So we got 4 pods over here. Nothing but dust in them. So just because there's pods hanging on them, you're like, oh man, Mike, there's some pods there, buddy. Half of them or more are actually empty. So yeah. So obviously this is, I haven't seen a crop this bad since 2018, but I do believe, I think we cut something like 5 bushel lentils in 2018. This year, I hope that we can get our seed back. So we need to at least average 1.5 to 2 bushels. So this is by far the worst lentil yield and drought that I've seen. 2018 was bad. It was real bad. And obviously 2017 was bad before it, but not like this year. So, but you know what? Us farmers, any farmer you talk to, we're always next to your country. We're always next to your country. You know, next year is going to be a great year. I know I said that before, but next year is going to be a freaking awesome year. And if it isn't, then the next year is going to be an awesome year. Because you have to stay positive. Because if you don't stay positive, then you definitely wouldn't make it as a farmer. And obviously, when you're trying to cut the tops of the lentils off, like we're literally trying to cut these tops of the lentils off. Makes it really hard. And you have to really look to know what we've cut to what we haven't cut. In fact, in some places, especially at night, you actually can't see it all. You cannot tell There is some places out here you cannot tell what is being cut. Thank goodness for GPS and mapping. Never thought that I would actually have to use my mapping on a combine because I don't know what has been cut to what hasn't been cut. So we got some more combines rolling in. So let's get back at her. You guys have yourself an awesome one. Talk to you later.